right, Zane, we visited earlier and I had no idea that you have an indoor arena up here. Explain that.
Yeah, we've been waiting about 40 years for an indoor barn in Sheridan, Wyoming. Thank goodness the college was able to secure some land. We had a very generous landowner here give us 35 acres, and with that it's about a $1.5 million match. So we were able to build an indoor facility. We opened it in January of 15. It's been a great asset to the college, to our community. Mark Gilkerson's our rodeo coach, really helped our rodeo program in recruiting, but these kids are practicing all year round. It's just a great facility. We've had a number of schools. Bobby Harris has had a team roping school, the Dream Team bareback riding school with Larry Sandvik and the Garrett brothers. We've had Wrangler team ropings with Dennis Tryon, horse cuttings, horse shows, rodeos, you name it. It's been a great addition to the college.
So the road going up to the arena, who's that named after?
Yeah, it's really a special thing. It's called actually Number 1 Chris Ledoux Way, and it's totally Wyoming. Our welding department actually made a silhouette of Chris Ledoux, and it's carved into the actual silhouette. So, and then we have a big ranch gate. It's really cool, really Wyoming.
So Chris went to school here.
Yes, yeah, he did. He actually went to Casper, and then he transferred to Sheridan, and he actually won a college title, national title, while at Sheridan.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your new play toy.
Yeah, it's been an awesome thing, and more great things to come.
That's great.
All right.
All right, Tony Reina just showed up, 2013 average winner at the national final steer roping. Tony, what do you got to tell everybody about steer roping out there?
Well, for me, I think it's the most cowboy event there is besides saddle bronc riding. You look back and you think about the first two events they had at Cheyenne, it was the saddle bronc riding and the steer rope. And I think that you got to be a cowboy to do this event, and more than likely you got to have a really good horse. There's a lot of horsemanship involved. Whether you made that horse or somebody else made it, there's so many fine lines there of when you need to hurry up and when you need to be patient, because the wrong jerk on a steer or the way you turn him around and lay him down and the way you ride your horse out there can mean whether you're a 10 or 15, which it makes a big difference. You're going to see the best guys, and if the best guys aren't on the best horses, they're not going to win. They're just good ropers. It's the same thing in all the other events too. You know that in the bulldogging as well, the calf roping too. You're only as good as your horse is. There's so many guys nowadays that can rope. I mean, the steer rope has gotten so tough that you don't duck off and go rodeo away from anybody like you do in the other events. Because every time you go somewhere, you're roping against the top 25 guys. If there's 100 guys entered, you're roping against the top 25 at every single one of them. It takes the horsepower to separate the roping ability, because all these guys rope good.
And what I noticed today, it's kind of an old man sport.
Yeah.
If you look at the average, who's winning it? JB? How old's JB?
He's 50.
He's winning the average.
Dan Fisher was winning.
Second?
I mean, he's placed, or he tied one in 9 flat or 9-1 last week, the week before last. He's 65 or 66 years old.
Glover, you're what,
Glover,
third average?
84th or so. No, what do you?
55.
55, I think.
When you get hold of Jared, we need to get a Geritol patch on old Glover.
Geritol jerking. No, he's right about that horse deal. You know, you go, like last year, I had my horse that was horse of the year for 2 years in a row. He gets crippled last year in March. Man, I fished around there and tried to find, I don't know how many horses. I rode yours, I rode Chance Skelton, I rode Shannon Stalls, is finally what I stayed on, and he wasn't rodeo anymore. So I went through 7 or 8 horses, you know, and everybody's pattern's different. You know, my pattern might be different from JoJo's or Chris's or Tony's, you know, but every horse didn't fit me. It was a chore trying to win, you know. I would have to say them horses are probably 75% of this deal or more, you know. It's a...
What I kind of noticed this morning, of the older guys, it's up there in the average. Those 3 horses that I watched that they rode, top of this.
Oh yeah.
Some of the best horses I watched today.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that just proves it, and it proves it in the other events too. I mean, you didn't see Roy Cooper keep winning in his mid-40s without top. You didn't see Joe Beaver keep winning in his late years without the better horses that he had. Fred Whitfield, Cody O. I mean, Cody and Pearl. That's a prime example just in the calf roping. And think about y'all in the bulldogging. You know, as the guys got older, you saw them keep winning when they went and got on the best horses, and that's what separates.
So is there any steer ropers that put on schools, or how would they get a hold of you?
My best advice to anybody, lots of people can handle a rope really good, you know, and everybody thinks, well, I can go rope steers. That's pretty easy right there, man. I can get them on fast. I've seen team ropers after team roper try it, you know, and then if they don't have a horse or don't have somebody to show them how to do it, they have the ability. They just don't have the know-how, and if they would go and get a little bit of help, you know, they could go a long ways.
So JoJo, could you chime in on that for us?
Yeah, it took me a while to figure it out, thanks to this guy, and it's dangerous enough that you definitely want to get with someone.
Yeah, just get some help, you know, try to find, you know, somebody starting and wanting to do it. You know, I've seen so many guys that try to start out and go, well, I got a heading horse that doesn't face real good. I think he'll make it, you know. I mean, go ahead and spend that extra money and go find you an old, solid tripping horse, you know, that somebody's passed down to pass down. It might get you by for 6 months, it might get you by for a year, but you need that stepping stool. Just like when we were kids, you know, you need that next step to get to the next level, you know, and you got to have that. But I always tell them guys, you got to have, somebody's got to know what's going on. You know, if you got a horse that's learning and you're learning,
It don't work.
there's two bad against you already right there. You got to have somebody knows what's going on. Either the roper's got to know or the horse does, you know.
So groundwork, do you still put a lot of hours in the practice pen?
I don't put as much as I used to. You know, if I got somebody that comes over for school or somebody's learning, I love that, you know, and I got some guys that come down. Trey Sheets comes in the wintertime and stays down there with me. Well, it helps because he wants to practice, wanting to get better. Well, it'll get me down there and wanting to work harder at it, you know. And if you get a bunch of guys together and just like today, tying that steer on the ground, well, it's competitive. But if I go out there and practice, and I'd rather go turn out calves for my girl or hang out with the family or whatever, you know. I practiced when I was little, but
JoJo does it for a living.
Every day.
That's how he gets his practice.
Yeah.
You know, them horses ain't made overnight. A lot of guys try to make a 30-day wonder. It's 3 or 4 years to make a good one. It takes that long, and it takes time of riding them, time off.
What's the top selling steer horse last year?
If you make one, 30 to 45,000, I'd say. But if you make one and you've taken the time to make them and you're going to rope, you don't want to get rid of them because, like Chris said, they take a few years to make. And when you get a good one and he gets a solid pattern, he's the most reliable thing you've got. That's just like having a reliable pickup to go to your job. He's your transportation to the job site. He's going to make your work easy.
Well, good luck, guys. Steer rope is one of my favorite events to watch. True cowboys go around to all these steer opens and show up. You see some really good horses and see some really good cowboys, but these guys know what's going on, so if you ever run into them, look them up, get some advice for them, and they'll help you out. Hey, this is Casey Jones. We've been working real hard on creating all the content for these last few videos. If you would help us out, please go to youtube.com, search for Rodeo Sports Promotions, and click on the link subscribe. And if you're already on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button. Thanks.
Wait a minute, he's filming.
Better be careful. He's a little more square than you are.
Steer wrestling.
Give up.
You want to give up, Bulldogger?